All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Transforming Lives, guys. My name is Tony Kimball. I'm the host, and I'd like to welcome you to our show tonight, guys. Tonight is a little different, guys. I want to let you know that we are going live currently on Instagram right now, and as well as you'll see us live on the various platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So again, guys, in the comments, let us know where you're calling in from, where you're tuning in from. And also let us know on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, if you get any type of feedback. This is my first time trying this out with the other platforms, but that's okay. We want to definitely try to reach as many people as possible with the guests that I do bring on because they have some exciting things to share with us. So I'm excited to talk about my next guest. Last week we had Tremaine Robinson on last week, an entrepreneur that's looking to, make an impact and is having an impact on his surroundings. Well, this week I'm gonna continue with the flow of just bringing dynamic people on to share their stories with you all. So let me go ahead and introduce him. Our guest is Will Baggett, the founder and chief development officer at Emergent Executives LLC. It's widely regarded as the top presenters in the country. Baggett's passion for developing young professionals spans across his 8-year career as a sports performance coach and administrator. In 2016, he published a best-selling guide for young professionals entitled The Blueprint for a Successful Career. In 2017, he followed up with the launch of Executive Image Workshop, a nationally recognized interactive training program focusing in on the ABCs of professional presence. He was also accredited with an organization inaugural Texas Regional Sports Summit, an annual series of events in Dallas, Texas, focusing on experimental professional development opportunities for young professionals and mid-level administrators. Guys, I'm excited to bring my next person on. And I've known this gentleman for quite some time now. And it's amazing how the circles change and how things happen in our lives. Never did I think that I will be on talking with this gentleman. So I'm excited to see him on. I'm excited to see him on very shortly. Thank you all for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing started, rocking and rolling. All right, sir. There we go. We got you on. How you doing, sir? Oh, can you hear me? Okay, your Wi-Fi. Gotcha. Okay. All right. I can see you. A little low on the voice, but it's a little down, a little mute. Trust me, man. We're good. I know how that thing roll, man. So while we're getting that ready, we know that people are right now definitely in Texas and definitely in Mississippi. We're getting this cold weather, this snow. So we know that definitely want to have everybody in our prayers because we know there is a lot happening in our world right now, in our region, in what I call football country. So we definitely want to be mindful of those that are out there. So I'm excited. All right.
Is it better?
That's better. I hear you loud and clear. All right. Well, good deal, man. How are you? Can you hear me?
Still not. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. Okay.
What about me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Awesome. Sorry about that.
No problem, man. That's technology. I deal with it on a daily basis. It definitely has a mind of its own.
Tell about it, man. Tell me about it. But it's a pleasure to be on with you, man.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. I'm excited to have you on. And it's amazing. I'm thinking back, man. I think we go way back, like, remember going to church, man. And just to think, we'll be on this platform like this. So it's amazing to definitely have you on here. So,
yeah, man, we go back like they say, 4 flats on the Cadillac.
All right, I like your rhyming, man. You see, I tried it, man. It was in my mind, but I was like, I ain't gonna try it out. I ain't gonna try it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, what I want to do tonight is, my mission here is to, bring people from, I used to say community, but I had to change that, people from my world to share their story, to inspire people to transform. That's what it's about. So, when I saw you, man, it was like, come on now, I need to get them on, man. And I appreciate you adjusting your schedule to come on.
Oh, no, man, that's no problem, man. I mean, one of the things I hate when people say, like, thank you for your time, because it's our time, It's your time too. Taking time away from your family, using your platform to allow me to share. So it's an honor and a pleasure. So thank you for making time for me on your schedule and for this conversation.
Awesome. So I want to start out. I know you have a lot of people that have had an impact on your life. What I want to start out with is just asking, who are some people that had, important people in your life? Kind of tell us about that. No, it's not one person, so I'll say people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Starting off first and foremost is, my parents. My upbringing was just, it was amazing. I find it hard to describe because my parents were just such great parents. They've been married for over 39 years now, and so just seeing that model of consistency, of love, of patience, of love, of long suffering, of perseverance through every trial and tribulation that they have gone through, they walked through together, and so to see that, it really just encouraged me to really just want to just kind of do the best I could to make them proud and to serve them best, to make them look good because of everything they did for me. Also, some mentors I had in my life I met when I was at Ole Miss. Well, one mentor, his name was Jamil Northcutt. And at the time, man, I was working at Walmart. And I was wearing sweats every day. What I mean? I was working at Walmart for a while, yeah.
I remember.
And, he saw something in me. I wasn't, my mother and father, they come from, humble beginnings, but they instilled a lot in me, and they wanted me to go further than they did. And through people like Jamil and other folks, man, they made it happen for me. And without him and people like Ty Brown, I wrote my book with, and countless other people, I wouldn't be, anywhere or have accomplished anything I have today. And so my favorite quote is, "If I've seen further than others, it's by standing upon the shoulders of giants." And so I've definitely had some giants whose shoulders I've stood upon to, be having this conversation with you.
Awesome, man. And yeah, definitely. I know your parents, and it just hit me, man. I have some little grades up here, man. I do remember. Yeah, you were at Walmart, man. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. So you're dating me, man. You're dating me back. So, I know your parents. You talked about humble beginnings, but did you see yourself becoming who you are right now?
Man, to be honest with you, no. I mean, I really kind of look at it in terms of Michelle Obama kind of approach, and that, still becoming, you know what I mean? In terms of anytime you feel like you arrived, you probably lost, and so I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing today, to be honest with you, but I can tell you about kind of 2 hallmark moments, I think, in my life. I think one was when I was in a bank. I was about 13 years old, and I believe Mr. Richard Ellis with Grenada Recreation, Grenada Recreation, was in the bank. And he heard me talking to a teller. And I was about 13, just hit puberty. And ironically, let me date back a little bit. When I was growing up, I'd answer the the landline at home. People would mistake me for my mom because my voice was so light. And so I started trying to talk like this to make my voice, sound deeper.
Right.
And I woke up with this thing one day, and this was after all that had transpired.
Right.
I had my kind of speaking voice I have now. And Mr. Ellis, well, actually, Mr. Fox, he heard me in the bank talking to the teller one day, He said, "Little Baggett, is that you?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Man, I didn't know you could talk like that." He said, "One day you're going to use your voice to do something to help people. Now, you watch what I did." And I was 14 years old when he told me that.
Right.
First person that ever told me that. And I'll never forget it. And I think that was a huge hallmark moment of it. And also, there's just been some other things in life. Like sometimes, necessity is the mother of invention. When you have need of something, when it may be financial or it may be with family or things you want to accomplish, it will push you into what you're supposed to be doing sometimes. I think you probably can relate to that as well. Right. And so I would definitely say that's been part of my career. And even another part, just in putting a book together with my mentor. When I started writing it, I didn't even have a Microsoft Word or anything. It was like a trial version, and I was scared any day I was gonna lose all my work. I couldn't afford Microsoft Office, like $180. I had that, I was an intern.
Yeah.
So my buddy, I won't mention his name, came through and put like his version of Microsoft Word on my computer. He had a little something for me. So
right. I wish.
$25.
Right. $25,
and I finished my book. That's how I finished my book because I didn't know the trial run was going to run out. I didn't say that little red bar keep popping up, But it really, man, really that was just a transformational time, just in life. And then when my English teacher, who inspired me in 11th grade, so I was under her supervision in 11th grade. I didn't start working on the publication until I was getting ready to. I was actually in my first job. We're talking about 6 or 7 years later, and I reached out to her. I said, you're the one who inspired me to write, so I'm going to dedicate. I'm going to ask you to help me with this. I've never done this before. She said, sure, I'll edit it for you. I'll do everything for you.
Wow.
And the process of that, I ended up quitting twice. Like I quit writing it twice. I printed the manuscript. I read it like, this is horrible. I'm not printing this. This is embarrassing. And I quit. And then I tried it again. I said, no, I can't do this. It's too much work. And then December 15, 2014 was the day I got the call that she'd actually passed away, my English teacher. And that crushed me. I was down for about 2 or 3 months behind that. And it was really just a tough time in life for me. So what I did, I reached out to my mentor and I said, hey man, been working on this publication. I wanted to get my teacher to help me with it, but she's no longer with us. I could use her help finishing it, and I want to dedicate it to her memory. And so that's how it got done. And so I try to be someone now that you're not waiting on something tragic to happen before you jump into action. You know what I mean? I try to avoid that approach now as best I can, and hopefully that serves to motivate someone else or inspire someone else. Because that's definitely a part of my story, and I know she's looking down on me. Today's actually her birthday, ironically. So shout out to her, to Miss Leverett from Grenada High School.
Wow, man,
Miss Charlene Leverett, yeah.
Man, you don't. When I say and my inspiration is when I ask somebody, it's not just God putting it on my heart. Like this is not like. I'm looking for this person, but it makes sense to ask the person. So it's wow. To hear all this is, cool. This is powerful. So you spoke about the book. I feel like you shared some of your lessons, some important lessons in your life. Unless you have some more, I want to hear more. I got the book, and it's a funny story, right? So I remember being at Walmart, right? You put the book out, and I saw your card. So I inboxed you on Facebook, like, look, let me get a book. And we're like, he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, I'm at Walmart in the parking lot, same place you are. And to get your book, you don't realize where my mind was not there then, but to think later on in how your book was inspiring to, I was young then. I'm still young, but I didn't have the grades. But I want the viewers to hear more about your book entitled "The Blueprint for a Successful Career." Share some for us, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of gave the backstory on how it actually, got finished. But really, when I got out of grad school, so long story short, when I left undergrad, I wanted to get into grad school. And at the time, I didn't know how I was going to pay for it because I didn't have the money. It was like 50 grand a year, what that was going to. So I actually was at a family reunion in Dallas, Texas, and it just so happened it worked out. So I said, hey, I'm going to be in Dallas, this weekend. I would love to come meet with you guys. This is the program director of the sport management program I was trying to get into, but they said they didn't have any more grad assistantships, and therefore I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. So they reached out to me like 2 weeks before I got down there for the family reunion and said, hey, we may have an opportunity open. It hasn't been open in 8 years, but it could be an opportunity for you if you can impress the guy. And so if you can get down here to meet him at some point in time, that would be great.
Wow. So
strung that together. My dad drove me to Waco from Dallas, and I walk into the meeting, and I have on like my polo shirt, my khaki pants, because I didn't own a suit. Like I talk about executive image now, and like the photos I use are me in a suit, so I'm always just in a suit when I go out to work with young professionals.
Right.
But I didn't own a suit. Like the last suit I had that was 2012. The last suit I bought was like 06, like Easter 06. It was like lime green, you know what I mean, for Easter at like Fellowship Church. It was terrible,
Yes.
So, that was gonna work. So all I had was, just my blue polo, my khakis.
Right.
And from that point on, like I met him, we hit it off, and he ultimately brought me on to, be under his guidance. His name was Ty Brown. And he took me under his wing. He showed me how to be a professional. He taught me the importance of, following up with people, following through with people, building relationships. And he just helped me make a lot of my dreams and aspirations come true for what I saw in my life and career. And I just owe a lot, to him in that regard. And he took me to go get suits and things like that, and just really put me in position to be successful. So once I graduated from being under his guidance for 2 years with a master's degree, I was in my internship in Atlanta, Georgia, and I could see just a gap between myself and some of my counterparts throughout the industry. Right. Not because I was better than them, not because I had a fancier title or job or anything like that. It's because I was trained in at a really high level.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, everyone doesn't get to choose their mentors. Everyone doesn't get to have great mentors. And so how can I develop a guide for people that may not have great mentorship or people that like to help them? And so this can be their kind of, their mentor, their guide. It can help them see what great mentorship looks like and help develop in their career. So that was the impetus behind the book. It's like, how can I help reach back and pull the next person up that may not have had the same guidance, the same opportunities, or just the same, instruction that I had. And I just felt privileged. I mean, even from how my parents raised me, I was privileged, and from the opportunities, the people that I met, I was privileged. The resources I was around was privileged. And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't ignore that privilege and that I used it to the best of my abilities to help develop other people. And so that's where the book idea came from. And like I said, I had a manuscript I was working on, but then he came in and said, hey, let's do this together. So you write it from your perspective, I'll write from my perspective.
Right.
And we put them together seamlessly, and it worked out really, really well. And knock on wood, we have 5-star review on Amazon, up to over 70 of them, and sold a few thousand copies now. And it's just been amazing, the response, because I just never could have imagined it. But one thing I talk about, oftentimes people say, well, I want to write a book, or I want to do something, or whatever it is you want to do. Well, the same way you do that is the same way you do anything. You do it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in time, when there was no book, there was just me and Microsoft Word and a blinking cursor. At one point in time, that's all that there was. And the hardest part is getting started, but like it says, and it gets Proverbs 16:3, I believe. It says, "You commit thy works to the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established." So you're committed to a purpose above yourself, committed to something that you believe in, that you really you're really doing for the right reasons. God will bless you in that, and I'm a strong believer of that. And that's kind of where it came from. It's been used in a lot of different places, athletic departments, and even otherwise. But the response and the support I got from being from home, that is when you know who you really are, because you have, like, you may have seen it, like some people go off to college or they move on to a different city and they reinvent themselves.
Right.
When you come home, people know who you really are and what you're about.
Right.
And so to get the response, from great people like you and others, that will let me know, okay, I did a good job at home, and now I can go out and just try to face the world.
Absolutely. Now, those that are on, we're on IG Live, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. I made sure I got on Facebook, sir. I'll tell you about that later. But we're on Facebook too, and on Twitter. So, yeah, I think I know that people need to understand that you haven't mentioned it, but I can remember your brother being BCS national championship. So I'm looking at you on social media. I'm like, my brother, man, is doing it big. Like he not like to be a leader in that capacity is different. I understand the college realm. Like they don't let everybody in. Like, you have to have some type of character. And, it's amazing to see what you will continually do in the lives of people on the campuses. I think you were at Michigan. You were at Miami. I'm just naming a couple because those are the teams that I like. You were some other places, but it's just the teams I like. That's all the teams I'm going to bring up. But, so what does transformation look like in your expertise?
Yeah, man, I would say, excuse me, I'm grabbing my charger real quick. I would say for me, man, the way I look at transformation is continuous evolution. It's a continuous evolution to getting to where you want to be. And sometimes, where we see ourselves or what we want for ourselves is not always what God wants for us.
Right.
So how can we really just, look at the transformation as a continuing process and one that is not something we ever truly arrive to? Because I've been reading up on this a lot lately, this thing called arrival fallacy. It simply states that if you think that happiness is the next step, the next job, the next part of the next whatever, then you'll never truly be happy, right? You'll never truly arrive at what you want to accomplish or attain if you're always looking at the very next thing, right? It's called arrival fallacy, and you really just can't get caught up in that because we're always looking for the next thing. But like it says in the Bible, it says, "For in all things I've learned to be content." Doesn't mean you have to be complacent, but you have to really just understand the power of contentment and peace of mind. Otherwise, it's just going to be a continual process of like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And I don't know this for myself personally, but I've been told that people that may use like different illicit drugs or things like that, the first time they use it is the biggest high they ever get.
Right.
And they spend like the rest of their time trying to get back to the first high they ever achieved. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at transformation in the sense that, okay, we're continuously evolving, through our achievements, our hardships, obstacles, struggles, what have you. And you have to look at all those different things, in terms of your development and your evolution. And not look at it from a victimized standpoint of like, why is this happening to me?
Right.
As opposed to what is this trying to teach me?
Right.
So that's what I think transformation is really about, is of becoming. And it's kind of even why I named like my company name is called Emergent Executives. And it's emergent with a T because it really, emerging means like you're kind of just like you're kind of headed up that mountain.
Right.
Emergent is a steady process, so you're never out of that process. And that's why I kind of chose that name. So transformation is one of those things where, it's like you think about like, the transformation of, of a caterpillar to a butterfly. You have to incubate. You know what I mean? There has to be some dark times,
right?
Within that cocoon that you're in there, really just developing, transforming. When you come out of it, it's beautiful for all the world to see. So that's kind of how I look at transformation.
Right. This is powerful, man. I usually let folks skip over stuff, but you just said, brother, I'm gonna give it a little pass because that's the thing. We're always pursuing this happiness, but once you get to that, what we think is happiness, it ain't it. And we sometimes get disappointed. Sir, go ahead, sir. I just can't let you skip over that. I just can't. We just gotta nip it on a little bit more.
Yeah. It's one of those things, I continue to have to, remind myself of because, God's definitely blessed me to do some different things. And, I have to just, think back to before I started doing this, like my very first presentation was at a youth day service in Coffeyville. And there were 7 people in the room, and that included my parents, my 3rd grade English teacher, and I think that was like 2 or 3 teenagers. And that was my very first audience, right? But I live by the mantra of how you do anything is how you do everything, and so I made sure they got the very best that I had to offer. When I gave that presentation, and so I'm kind of giving some backstory on that. But I remember I said, man, I would love to be able to speak at one of like these Division I universities one day, like at Miami or Michigan. Man, that was so cool, And sometimes, we can forget the things that we once prayed for because we become so used to them.
Right.
Right. I mean, like, okay, I'm used to it now. I've spoken at these universities, and I've been here, I've been there, I've traveled all over the country, And so now, what's next? And I've done that, and in some cases, it's caused me because I didn't have contentment, in what I was doing. And sometimes when you try to step out of the lane God puts you in, He'll put you back over there where you need to be. And so that's what I think has been one of the biggest things for me is just learning, not to be, so anxious to do the next thing, because life is short, but life is also long. We have time.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest things we have to do is really just value the ones that are with us, whether we're on the side of the road selling watermelons or running, IG Live conversations or doing speaking engagements. I mean, I really just look at it all in the same bucket because for me, it's not about speaking. It's not about going to different universities. I mean, that's cool. I love to travel, all different things. But one of the most important things for me, or transformational things for me, is when I read this article about Nick Saban. And the headline was, it said, Nick Saban isn't into college football. Like, what does that mean to me? Like, Saban isn't into college football. Like,
it's a clickbait.
He's won national championships. How can he not be into college football? So I'm like, this is just clickbait. So what I do, I click. So I click on the article and I read it. And I get to the nitty gritty of it. And it said, Nick Saban isn't into college football. Nick Saban is into competition. I said, okay, that makes sense. He's into tic-tac-toe, basketball, shuffleboard, whatever it is. He's into competition.
Right.
College football is just an outlet. It's just a medium. And so I had to think about that for myself. Okay, like, what am I really into? All right, am I into public speaking? Like, no, I'm introverted. You know what I mean? So I had to think about what am I really into. And when I looked at the book situation, the book measure, I looked at the speaking opportunities that God's blessed me with. And I just look at, the things I do that nobody ever knows about. When I just try to talk to people, encourage them, similar to what you do. Because there's so much we don't announce, that we do for other people. And we shouldn't announce, right? We do it for the sake of just being good people. And when I looked at it, unpacked everything, it really came down to, I'm into human development. I'm not into speaking. I'm not into writing. I'm not in, because I've been a strength coach before. I've done this. I've been writing. You know what I mean? Everything points back to human development, and in this case, transforming lives.
Man, that's powerful, man. I'm excited that you are bringing out these points right here because we're looking for the big, shiny thing, but it's not the big, shiny thing. It's the journey to passing by the shiny thing, and that journey, man. That's woo, sir.
So that's the thing. Now you're talking about something. Now this is something, a revelation I had not so long ago. It was honestly, man, something that really just kind of, it kind of really just shook me, because the story of Nebuchadnezzar and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the fiery furnace. Well, talking about the big shiny thing. I mean, that's what Nebuchadnezzar did. He created a big shiny statue of himself that he wanted people to worship and not idolize, right? And how many of us do that?
Right.
Create some big shiny thing or image or what have you that we want people to, idolize, like a Trojan horse, but not really knowing what's on the inside, what I mean, and how people also are going through things and people may be broken and going through different transformations in their lives. And I think we oftentimes may overlook that because we put the highlights on social media. We don't post the lowlights.
Right. No.
We post the highlights. You know what I mean? So, and that's the thing, man. So, yeah.
That's Andy Mineo, man. He talks about the exact thing right there. We don't post those things that are not pleasing. Yeah, man, this is great. What's one thing that I haven't, that you would like to share? Maybe I haven't asked you that you want to share with the viewers. You shared some powerful stuff, I mean, they just getting some dessert right now.
Okay, man, I would just say, make sure you keep the main thing the main thing. There's a lot to be achieved in the world as far as like, business and financial resources, but you have to make sure you look at things as a resource and not the source. Right. And I think we can oftentimes get those things mixed up. I've been a victim of it, sometimes not prioritizing the right things, whether it be, family and personal relationships,
right.
because you think you can, you achieve your way to, I guess let me think about it like this. You can't achieve your way to heaven, so to speak.
No.
You can't achieve your way into people's hearts that truly care about you and truly love you. You can impress people that, and then when that logo's gone or when that business is no longer there or something catastrophic comes or what have you, then what do you have left? The people that are with you no matter what. So I think you really just in the quest to, achieve what you're seeking to achieve or go after what you want to go after, ask yourself first and foremost, why do I want to do this? And when I get the salary or the financial resources, what am I going to do with it?
Right.
If I want to go buy this car or this home, well, if I didn't post it, would I still be happy with it? Is it truly for you or are you trying to impress other people?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I really think you have to really just unpack that because you can go get this new house, new car, what have you. Let's say something comes up, can't make the payments. Well, the same people that were liking it and commenting, they're not going to come pay the note for you.
Right.
That's on you.
Right.
Yeah, so I really want to encourage people to just, really just kind of find their why, find the purpose in why they want to do what they want to do. And I think if you want to get what you want, you have to help other people get what they want. That's what I truly believe. And something that was taught to me, and I just try to live by it and try to abide by that principle. Because, everybody needs somebody. We need community. And, one thing I always say, obviously, I've been very blessed and very fortunate. But without the support, without pillars of people supporting you and holding you up, there is no platform. You've never seen a platform floating in thin air. It doesn't work like that. Something is holding that platform up. So if I have a platform in whatever that sense is because I'm standing upon the shoulders of many people that have helped me get here.
Right.
And I would add you to that because without this platform, I've never been on Instagram Live before, you know what I mean? And so this is giving me an opportunity to maybe reach some people that I would never reach or never know or never meet, about what you've created and what you've established. So I think, we're just working in collaboration and divine appointment, with this conversation. And so I'm really enjoying it. I really like this.
Oh, yeah, brother. I usually kind of set a time, but you just know when you begin to talk about transformation, one of the things I talk about a lot of times is not staying stuck at your potential or staying stagnant. Mm-hmm. So although you may, and you talked about it earlier about having a plan, but it becomes so much bigger than you. So like right now, as I'm listening, I'm making adjustments to say, look, okay, all right. What's best not for Tony, but what's best for the people that are listening. If you're going to be impactful, as you said, those pillars, you need to, I'm not going to ask any more questions, but it's some good stuff, man. You when you listen, yeah, the whole idea of pillars that support, because it's a thing, man, that I've learned, man, and I was looking at this, and I'm going to talk about this in about a month or so, is talking about how Jesus had I don't know how I'm going to phrase it, but I'm just going to use this term, Jesus had a squad. And although he did not need it, but he used it to teach us something about how we needed those people around us, that it's never going to be just about us, but it's going to be about bringing those other people, but also lifting those other people up, man. So you got me a little started on that. Yeah. Jesus needed a squad, man. I'm telling you, man,
it's powerful stuff, man.
Yeah.
And all these things, man, I've just learned from other people, from watching other people, from listening to other people. Like it's just all been just a journey that I'm still learning as I continue to go. And like, for me, it's like I look at, you know what I mean, having established your family and things like that. Like that's something that, really important to me, and for my next step in life, And that's what I really just admire about you, man, and just how you're going about it. Because just doing things out of the kindness of your heart, because I can tell you're really passionate about this. And, just how you created your own media, your own videos. And you said, man, I can't afford to outsource it. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I can't do it. So it's professional to me. Anything that I can't do is professional to me. If I can't do it, if I can't sit down on my computer or my phone and do it at that moment in time, I consider it being professional. So that's how I view you, man, in this sense, bro.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. It's a lesson in that too, where where I can say sometimes to myself, well, I can't do it. Yeah, man, I can't say this myself. As you're talking about, there's so many people that have stepped in my life that, as you talked about too, that have just been this pillar of support. So yeah, what's like 3 words to leave the viewers with. Let's see, I think you're coming back. You're saying them, but we're missing them. And I understand how technology goes. Yeah, we're rocking real good. Yeah. We're going to have to email everybody, brother. Hey, Captain. Let's see what happens. It's all good. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I guess it kind of went out. The sound. Okay, you're low. You got me now? Yeah, you're low now. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Yep. Got it.
We're back.
Yes, I missed your last statement, man. Last question. I'm sorry.
Okay. 3. So I got one person. Did y'all ask a question? This is Kasheen. Oh, so yeah. So 3 words that you want to leave with the viewers.
What was the question one time?
Yeah, 3 words you want to leave with the viewers.
Yeah, 3 words to leave with the viewers. I would say that let's see, 3 words. Can it be like just individual words, or like phrases, or like?
Go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead. Work it like you want to work it, sir.
Okay. I would say, the first thing is relationships, and just think about just the importance of relationships, not always just in the romantic sense, but, whether that be with relationships with people that you work with, people that you care about, your peers, and just understand that everything's in a relationship. There is a relationship between the sun and the earth, right? So where we were any closer to the sun, we'd all be fried, right?
Right, yeah.
So there's a relationship there. And, the people that love you the most will be with you, through no matter what you go through. So I'll say the first word is relationship or relationships.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say is resilience. Being able to bounce back from setbacks or different obstacles you may encounter or things that may come up in life, and how you overcome them. So your resilience and how you persevere through them really is a measure of who you are. So I really think resilience is very, very key, especially, everything you may go through as someone that is maybe underprivileged, underrepresented, whatever that may look like for you, whether you black, white, green, yellow, purple. Like there's different things that, may or may not be fair for us, or different, different hands or cards we get dealt in life that cause us to be resilient and rely on God and God alone in order to make it through these things. So relationships, resilience, and the third thing I would say is responsiveness. So kind of your 3 R's here: reading, writing, arithmetic. But the third one is responsiveness. The problem itself is never the problem. It's how you respond to it. Right. It's how you respond to the problem. It's what you do with it. It's how you move forward from it. it's how you just try to find a way forward through those different obstacles you may face. And so those are three words I would say: relationships, resilience, and responsiveness. And also just with responsiveness, it comes down relationships as well. If you're responsive to people, if you take care of people, if you love on people, if you respond with humility, if you treat them with kindness, and how you respond to them, then they'll go back for you. They'll really do wonders for you. So in a way, I think all these things tie together because people around you can help you be resilient through your relationships. So it all kind of comes down to that. You want to transform your own life, you help transform other people's lives, and watch how, as a byproduct, you're supposed to be transforming the process. So that's what I just firmly believe, man. And it hasn't failed me yet. And so I'm just going to continue to try to walk in that favor and flourish in that favor, man, because it's definitely real, and it's things we can learn from each other. And you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And I think that's very, very important, and something we can really all apply to our lives.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I have one question I saw pop up, brother. This is my second IG. I did it mostly on Facebook. I have one person to ask this question. Excuse me. One question. Let me see if I can pop it up there. Can you see it?
Yep. Well, no, can't see it, but I can hear that. What is it? What is that?
Okay. This is, how do you overcome obstacles? I think you kind of share some
obstacles. Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. You have to first identify, okay, what is the obstacle itself? And why is it affecting me the way it is? Could it be something that happened that I can't control? Say, for instance, if something happened that's completely out of your control, there's nothing you could have done to prevent it, anything like that. You have to be able to unpack that, first and foremost. You see that phrase, that prayer all the time is like, God, help me to accept the things I cannot change, give me the serenity, you know what I mean? All those different things. So first, obstacles can be so very different and so very broad. So there's no one, clear-cut way to overcome an obstacle, right? Now, if it's something that, that you may have had a hand in or something that affected you in that way, well, that obstacle has to, really just look at, okay, what lessons is trying to teach me? Right. Is this a blessing? Is a blessing in disguise within this lesson? Right. Within this obstacle. And I think, obstacles, come up in life, and they're meant to, teach us, help us grow and develop and evolve. And, like I said, the problem is never the problem. The obstacle itself is never the obstacle. It's how you overcome it. And if it's something that's causing you grief, or something that's interrupting your daily life, that's causing, anything, whether it's depression or anxiety, you want to seek professional counseling, right, to help overcome those obstacles. Really lean on your family, people that care most about you, and be open and honest with people. Like when, if someone asks you how you're doing, you're not doing your best, tell them, hey, I'm not in the best spot right now. So obstacles, again, they're so different. They're so very broad. There's no one way to, overcome it. But I will say that the tried and true process is you have to lean on your relationships with other people that care about you. Right. You have to take advantage of your resources, because God's not going to come down here and say, hey, here you go, obstacle fixed. He's not going to do that. There's still people here on earth that help us overcome things, professionals, therapists, people like that. And then the third thing I would say is just really understanding, okay, what is this obstacle trying to teach me, and how can it potentially be avoided in the future if it's something that, that I may have caused or something I had a hand in. So, and I think you have to understand that and allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to feel. Like, you don't allow yourself to feel, to think, to process. What it's going to do is it's just going to be bottled up. And at some point later in the future, it's going to come out in a different fashion. Right. So you really don't want to bottle that up. You really want to make sure, because it says something, I read something said, if you don't address like childhood traumas and your relationships, will address them for you. Yep. Right? So you want to be the best version of yourself, work things out for yourself. That way, people that love you and care about you, you won't bleed on people that didn't cut you, so to speak. And so that's what I would say when it comes to different obstacles in life, broadly speaking. Right,
sir. Those that are replaying, if you're looking at this as a replay, you got a lot of great information. I want to let you know this. If you haven't figured it out, I'm just telling you at the end that you got a great information. Will, I appreciate you. I want to stop and pause and give you the opportunity to tell people how they can reach out to you. If they're not following you, they need to follow you. You got the flow, sir. I'm quiet.
No, man. I mean, it's like I said, this is your show. Awesome, man, to share what's on my heart. platform with you. Because
it might be my internet. Yeah, I've lost your voice. Yeah, I know, Ms. Watson. I don't know what didn't happen. We lost your voice. You're saying some powerful stuff, sir. Okay. No, sir. I don't know what happened. You cut out a little early. Let's see. Can you hear me?
can you?
Yeah, there you go. Came in for a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, did you catch any of that?
None of it, sir. I'm afraid not. I had someone in the comments told me I better fix this thing by in a couple of minutes because they can't hear you.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. I think it's on my end, man. I'm in Dallas, so like the Wi-Fi and everything is just servers are all kind of crazy, so it's probably on my end.
It's
So I do
okay.
apologize, but we got to do it again, uninterrupted. So I'll take responsibility for that.
Oh, it's all good, man.
What I would say, just to your point, man, is really just understanding the power of different conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this from the standpoint of like when we first met, in my youth and me coming up and just going to church, things like that. We probably wouldn't have looked ahead however many years it's been and said we would be on this platform together, right? You didn't know you may be creating this platform. I didn't know that I would have something worth sharing on this platform. And so that's one of the most important, the most proud moments I have or continue to enjoy are those with my mentors. So at a point in time, my mentor was like, hey, do this, do that. Make sure you talk to this person, do that. Here's this book, read this, what have you. And now we're able to look each other in the eye and discuss partnerships, different business opportunities, how to support one another, right? And so it's one of those things where, you're not always having top-down conversations or bottom-up conversations. But, for me to be on this platform with you is someone that I admire and I respect and has always been a model of consistency over the years. That for me is the most humbling thing because I was always looked up to. That's Mr. Kimball. You know what I mean? That's Mr. Kimball. But now he's giving me an opportunity to be on his platform. That lets me know that God has really just done a work in my life over the past, gosh, about 15 years or something like that. Maybe since we first, encountered each other. And so you want to get to a point, I believe, where you have different conversations with people that you admire, hold in high esteem. Because like when I was creating my business, I was competing with people. I say competing lightly. I was competing with people that didn't know I was on the planet. Right. Because I studied the greats. I studied the people that are doing it the right way, that are doing it at a high level, and doing a level that I want to reach one day. So I think that is what's most key and what's most important is, being able to develop yourself to say, hey, someone I admire right now, you know what? I would love to be on a conversation with them. I'll be on a podcast with them one day or share the stage with them one day doing something. How do I, develop myself to get to that point where I have these kind of conversations? That's why I'm just taking advice all the time, but to the point where I can provide advice that we can work hand in hand in conjunction with one another. And so that's what I feel is the most important thing I'm taking away from this is that, man, like, look what has happened, transpired over these last, decade plus to where we are now and being able to share this platform together. So it's so cool, to be honest with you.
So we're going to connect. I don't know in what way, but we're going to connect because, again, I let you slide by a lot of little points you said that we ain't dive into it. So we're gonna connect in another way. Don't know yet, but we shall. I appreciate you coming on in this platform. Appreciate the kind words that you gave me, and thank you so much for sharing what you shared to those that needed to hear it and will help to transform our lives. So thank you so much, sir. I salute you. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
The pleasure was all mine. Appreciate it, Mr. Kimball.
Okay.
Be in touch.
All right,
Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
All right. All right. Bye.
All right. We thank you for joining. I tried this out a little different. Thank you for joining us. That was the interview with Will Baggett. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tony Kimball, your host. See you next week, Tuesday, same time on IG Live. Have a great one. Bye.